this drew my attention during an especially dark time in our city's history. A time when many people allowed fear, hysteria, and misinformation to dominate their better judgment. I watched Bernie take a principled stand and vote against the Iraq War and the Patriot Act at a juncture when it was expedient to simply go along to get along, when it was easy to surrender our personal freedoms to the illusion of safety and protection. Bernie said no. Instead, he took the measured, reasoned, and responsible approach that has kept him on the right side of history at virtually every turn since he's been in the public eye. Since then, I have taken the time to study Bernie's past. I discovered a man who believed that black men and women should have equal access to the same housing and receive the same quality of education as white men and women. The fact that Bernie believed so passionately he was willing to be detained for resisting arrest while trying to fight for just that right in Chicago. I discovered a man who marched with my hero, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I discovered a man who worked with the Congress of Racial Equality and later the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee to end discrimination practices in Southern restaurants. This was history in the making, and Bernie was there. Fast forward to Bernie Sanders today, a man with an unflappable position on issues important to me, like LGBTQ rights, environmental justice, and equality. Whether we're talking about pay equity, a living wage for all full-time employees, or making sure Main Street doesn't suffer because of Wall Street, Bernie Sanders walks the walk and talks the talk when it comes to fairness. Over the years of traveling across the United States and outside of America with my former band, I have discovered within myself an underlying but potent appreciation of justice and common decency. I seek out leaders who represent themselves honestly and fairly and who share the same appreciation of justice. You know, too often we watch as politicians say one thing and do the other, and often reverse their positions and pretend that they've always held that position. Bernie Sanders isn't worried about political expediency or doing what polls might say is the right thing to do. His moral compass is due north, and that is exactly what we need right now.
It is beautiful to be back in a place where I used to be when I was a kid. We used to go swimming right around here.
Love you, Bernie!
I think I've eaten half the hot dogs that Nathan's produced. Those doors for $250,000 a speech. Now that is a lot of money for a speech. And I imagine that if you're going to get $250,000 for one speech, just think about it. It must be one of the great speeches in world history. Probably contains the solution to many of our world problems. Probably written in Shakespearean prose. So I think if that speech is so great, Secretary Clinton should release the transcripts. Now, other people do the same. So here on Coney Island on this beautiful day, are you ready for a dramatic announcement? Yes. All right, hold your breath. This is a big deal. I am prepared to release all of the transcripts of all of the speeches that I gave on Wall Street. Now that is pretty easy because they're were no speeches. There were no transcripts. That is why when we talk about public education today, it is not good enough to be talking about first grade through 12th grade. We need free tuition at public colleges and universities. Now, some people may think this is a radical idea. It is not a radical idea. It is a commonsensical idea. It will happen sooner or later. Our job is to make it happen sooner. Right now, as many of you know, Germany has free college education. Scandinavia has free college education. You know, I was at a meeting in Washington a year ago, and I was talking about Scandinavia and higher education, that it was free, and a guy jumps up, and he says, "Hi, my name is whatever," and I can't quite remember. He said, "I am from Finland," and you are wrong, Senator. I said, "Really?" He said, "No, it is not free in Finland. They pay us to go to school." So I stood corrected. We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable to our children and future generations. And whether the fossil fuel industry likes it or not, their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our planet. And we will transform our energy system to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. We can do that. We must do that. When people begin to think outside of the box, and when they look around them and they say, "You know what? The status quo is not working," one of the areas they notice right away is that we as a nation are the only people in the industrialized world, the only wealthy nation that does not guarantee health care to all people as a right.